Hey everyone, it's Farrah Prudence here. I've got a long drive ahead of me, but I was listening to the radio and I just found out that the Democrats have postponed voting on a bill. It was it was a bill against anti-Semitism because of the constant remarks coming out of Congresswoman Ilan Omar's mouth that are anti-Semitic, anti-Israel, pro-BDS. And the reason they've postponed the vote is because Ocasio-Cortez wants to add Islamophobia into this bill. So they want to include that they are against Islamophobia as well. And I am not mad. I'm not pissed off. I have flown right past that into enraged. There is a significant difference between Islamophobia and anti-Semitism. Now let me say this. I believe in what Dr. King believed in, which is that people should be judged by the content of their character, not by their race or color of their skin. I am all for that. Anti-Semitism is against Jews, it's against Israel, and it is wrong because it does not judge people by their character. When you're talking about Islamophobia, it is not about crimes against Muslims. It's not because somebody decides to take a gun and go kill Muslims because they're Muslims. Islamophobia is not about Muslims getting their mosques burned down. Mind you, if you go to the FBI's website, you're going to be able to see that the crimes against Jews in the United States far outweigh crimes against Muslims. Muslims report bacon being put on the handles of the mosque as a hate crime. It's not a hate crime. That's a prank, okay? It's not a hate crime. There's nothing hateful about that. There's a bunch of people that didn't have anything better to do. Is it the nicest thing to do? No, it's not. But it is far removed from a Jew that gets their store burned down, or a Coptic Christian that gets killed because they're a Christian in Egypt. So make no mistake about it. You need to call your representatives, because Islamophobia is not crimes against Islam. It's not hate speech against Islam. It is any criticism of Islam. It is not anti-Semitic for me to criticize Judaism or to criticize Moses. You're not going to have Jews out protesting and trying to get the FBI involved and trying to get law enforcement involved and trying to ruin your reputation and your character, the reputation of your character, because you speak against Moses or you speak critically of the Torah or the Old Testament. That's not the situation here. Islamophobia is anybody who speaks against Muhammad, anybody who speaks in criticism against Islam. Muslims consider that Islamophobia. So make no mistake about this. This is an effort to introduce Sharia compliance by limiting freedom of speech into our country. These people, they're smart. This is very, very smart. This is in fact brilliant. They're going to take something that is supposed to be beautiful, a bill that stands up against anti-Semitism, and they are going to twist it and ride the back of that bill to try and deny us our freedom of speech. I'm not coming up with this on my own. Look at what's going on in Europe. Look at what's going on with the United Nations. This has been coming for a very long time. As a matter of fact, there was a bill that was introduced a couple of years ago that I made a video about. I think it was 517 or something. I don't remember what the number was. And in this bill, they wanted to prohibit Islamophobic speech. They want to go after you if you say that Muhammad was a pedophile because he raped a 9-year-old girl called Aisha. They want to go after you if you say that Muhammad was anti-Semitic because he made it his day job to go ahead and kill Jews wherever he finds them. They want to make it illegal and Islamophobic for you to say Muhammad was a warmonger because That's how he actually spread Islam, is through war. They want to go after you. They want to shut down your businesses. They want to put you in jail. They want to make an example out of you and me for saying, hey, Islamic Sharia is incompatible with the Constitution of the United States. It is not okay for you to perform female genital mutilation on your underage daughters. It's not okay. It's un-American. It's wrong. It's anti-human. Forget about anti-American. It's anti-human. So the question becomes, when are we as Americans going to stand up and say, hell no? Not now, not here, not ever. When are we going to wake up to this play in words? Because believe me, they are loving this. The left is loving this. Of course, Ocasio-Cortez, who's a communist, is all for this, because Islam and communism are hand in hand now to take down the Christians, the Jews, the capitalists, all the rest of us, basically. So here's the thing. Freedom is incompatible with communism, and it's also incompatible with Islam. And the Islamic community, the Muslim community, their goal is to do whatever is possible to make Islamic Sharia not only acceptable in the United States, but the norm and the mainstream. Like, make no mistake about it, just like we saw with the abortion issue, finally, their agenda is up on billboards now, okay? It's in full display. You cannot deny the left's agenda of infanticide. They were talking about pro-choice, pro-women back in the 60s and the 70s, and we don't want to kill babies. It's just pro-choice. It's just when it's just a clump of cells. And now they don't even want to save babies who are born alive after they try to murder them, okay? Now there's no mistake about what their agenda is. Believe me, the left and the Islamic agenda is not just to be able to practice Islam in the United States. They already do that. That's not a problem. Their agenda is to make Islamic Sharia acceptable, the norm, and the mainstream of the United States of America. And guess what? They are winning. If you're sitting on your couch right now, if you're sitting in your office and you're like, oh, that'll never happen in the United States, it's happening. It's happening. We have an attorney general who is a Muslim, in Keith Ellison in Minnesota. We have 2 congresswomen at least who are Muslims. We have Muslims holding political office all over this country. We have Muslim doctors who just got away with performing female genital mutilation on American girls. Do you know what that means? They are already getting away with it. There are honor killings taking place in the United States. There's honor violence taking place in the United States. There are multiple wives situations in states that are polygamy is illegal. They are there and they are doing it. They are getting away with it. They are doing it. We just found one of the many places where children and other people are being trained in jihad. When are we going to say, okay, enough is enough, they have gone too far? When are we going to say that I, for example, should not go to jail for making this video? When are we going to say that it is our right to stand up against evil? It is our right to stand up against darkness. It is our right to stand up and say whatever it is that we want to say. I am not for inciting violence. I am not for hate speech. I despise and loathe racism. I hate racism. And it's okay. Stand up right now and say something that you hate. What do you hate? Do you hate female genital mutilation? I hate it. I hate it. We've come to be in a society where hate is not acceptable. And I find hate to be a good thing. It can be a very, very good thing. You should hate sin. You should hate people who are murderers. Or, well, not hate the murderers, but hate the murder, right? You should hate babies getting killed. You should hate girls getting killed just because they don't want to be in a marriage, or just because they don't want to wear the hijab, or because they don't want a hot stone put over their breasts so it flattens them out. Yes, that's a thing. That's a thing. You should absolutely start to speak up about things that you hate and things that you will not allow on your watch. So here's the thing. This bill that got postponed has gone from a nice gesture from the Democratic Party to go against what Ilan Omar consistently says, which are just anti-Semitic, anti-Israel remarks. It's gone from something that was going to be nice, not sufficient, but nice, to now it is extremely dangerous. So make up your mind on what side of the fence you're going to stand on, because this is not going to stay on the back burner for long. You need to contact your representatives, and we need to start doing something about this as a country. I mean, when you were talking about people have been talking about the dangers, I've been talking about the dangers of electing officials who are Islamic Sharia compliant. We're talking about them introducing Sharia into the United States. Banning or condemning Islamophobia is the first step of introducing Islamic Sharia into the United States. Because in Islamic Sharia, anybody who speaks against Muhammad, criticizes him or his Allah, should be put to death. Now, this bill obviously doesn't do that, but it puts it on that train. It puts us on that path of not being able to have free speech, being able to exchange ideas, of being able to talk to each other and say, hey, I'm against this, I'm not for this, I'm not going to stand for it. So there you have it. This is going to be the first of many videos where we're talking about this. Make sure you share this video, and please go to freethecaptive.org. Check out the ministry that we have. It is so important to educate Americans on the dangers of Islam, but to also share our testimonies in Christ, because if you're only talking about the darkness of Islam and you're not talking about the light and the hope that is in this world, then people really don't know what to do with it. It's not important. It's not just important to stand against something. It's important to stand for something. And I stand for hope and love and light and freedom. You see, I loathe and despise the KKK. I loathe and despise all forms of racism. However, I am for people's free speech. Even if that free speech is against me personally, you have the absolute right to call me whatever name you're calling me right now. You have the absolute right to say, Farrah Prudence is hateful and she's a xenophobe. Whatever it is, you may not be correct in what you're saying, but you have the right to say the stupid things that could be coming out of your mouth. Nobody has the right to take away our freedom of speech. So, to put it all down into conclusion, we are going actually to Minnesota, to the state of Ilan Omar, at the end of March for 5 events. These events are private events. If you would like to attend, please email me, farah@freethecaptive.org. I'll be able to put you in touch with the correct people that'll be able to let you into the events. Our events are extremely peaceful. It basically is sharing my testimony in Christ for one part, and then the other part is going to be education, facts, complete facts about Islam. Everything that we use, or I use, is coming from Islamic doctrine. So I even use complete Islamic sources, and I only use, the Quran and Bukhari to talk about it, because those are really the official books of Islam. So don't just listen to this video, share it, call your representatives. Let's get this bill back on track to what it was supposed to be, and let's make sure that Ilan Omar gets off of this Foreign Affairs Committee. There is no reason that somebody who's anti-Semitic and obviously compliant to Islamic Sharia should have any kind of foreign affairs say, or receive any kind of classified information like she does, because she is on this committee. So share, like, and watch the next video, because it's coming soon.